I believe whatever doesn't kill you simply makes you stranger.
Welcome to Watch Mojo, and today we're counting down our picks for the most charming, compelling film villains we can't bring ourselves to hate. Animated ones not included, unfortunately. Spoiler alert, sympathetic villainy and some major plot points will ensue.
I got it. I got the concept.
Number 20, Captain Hector Barbosa, Pirates of the Caribbean franchise. Some of our most beloved bad guys keep us on our toes, and that fits Hector Barbosa to a T.
You better start believing in ghost stories, Miss Turner. You're in one.
Introduced as a straightforward villain in Curse of the Black Pearl, Barbosa becomes a tenuous ally to Captain Sparrow, though after getting resurrected from the dead. Both intimidating and witty, Barbosa is every inch the charming, roguish pirate with a flexible moral compass. More than that, he undergoes character development throughout the series, forming bonds and repartee with Sparrow, Elizabeth, and the crew. This character arc culminates in the pirate's final and poignant sacrifice to save his daughter.
Who am I to you?
Treasure.
Honestly, what's not to like? Number 19, Jacobin Mugatu, Zoolander and Zoolander 2. Some villains have the power of style and pithy one-liners. Jacobin Mugatu may be a criminal, but one law you won't see him breaking is the law of good taste.
Let me show you the future of fashion. Let me show you derelict!
Even if he has to brainwash people to kill a progressive prime minister to prevent him from eliminating those cheap sweatshops. Mugatu may be a shameless capitalist exploiter of child labor, but on the other hand, he brainwashes people into assassination with Relax by Frankie Goes to Hollywood. This walking satire of the fashion industry has got groove and charisma all of his own. So really, we gotta stan. Number 18, Castor Troy, Face Off. Now this is a fun villain part for both the audience and actors, plural. In this action thriller, both John Travolta and Nicolas Cage play Castor Troy, a name and personality straight out of Greek mythology.
You think I'm bluffing? Maybe I am, but then maybe I'm not. More importantly, what would you do with me locked up? You'd drive your wife and kid crazy.
Sure enough, despite his unhinged actions, Castor's devotion to his younger brother Pollux is touchingly sympathetic. Castor's unhinged villainy, and random Handel's Messiah hate, is memorable and undoubtedly one of the many best things about this cult action classic.
Honey. Come here. And guess what? Your daughter's on the way. History repeats itself.
His character is so iconic, the Cages even confirmed that he'd be willing to return to play Castor. Make it happen, Hollywood! Number 17, Vincent, Collateral. Sociopathic hitmen may be a dime a dozen, but few are as charismatic as Vincent, the hitman who takes humble cab driver Max hostage.
You no longer have the cleanest cab in La La Land. You gotta live with that. You focus on the job. Drive.
Erudite, sophisticated, and seductive, Vincent is the modern-day devil to a terrified Max, threatening him to go along with his criminal endeavors and offering him a dark vision of ambition unfettered. While Max eventually breaks free from Vincent's thrall, the latter's charisma is the most noteworthy.
I'm not taking you to see my mother. Since when was any of this negotiable?
Here, Tom Cruise got a chance to go beyond his usual generic heroics and deliver a subtle and challenging performance. It pays off handsomely with a villain we won't forget anytime soon. Number 16, Howard Payne, Speed. A retired bomb squad officer turned terrorist, Payne brings a world of pain to the protagonist of this action flick.
Underline. This day has been real disappointing, I don't mind saying.
Why, because you didn't get to kill everyone?
There will come a time, boy.
Payne plants a bomb that is programmed to detonate if the bus goes below 50 miles per hour, and hero Jack Traven must stop him. Sounds generically villainy enough, right? Except Payne is played by the talented Dennis Hopper, transforming a standard villain into a scene stealer.
Do you know what a bomb is, Jack, that doesn't explode? It is a cheap gold watch, buddy.
So it's especially unfortunate that Payne's end is anticlimactic, with Payne killed by a train light. What a painful end. At least we had fun with Payne while it lasted. Number 15, Beetlejuice. Beetlejuice. Villains are dangerous, villains are deadly serious, villains can even be tragic. But sometimes villains are just sleazy poltergeists who marry teenagers.
I want out for good. In order for me to do that, hey, I gotta get married. Hey, these aren't my rules. Come to think of it, I don't have any rules.
When a deceased couple hires Beetlejuice to scare away the new family living in their house, they get more than they bargained for. They stop Beetlejuice from wreaking havoc and trying to marry the underage Lydia, sending him back to bureaucratic hell. Still, Beetlejuice is so wacky and spontaneous, we could stand to watch another hour or two of his ghostly antics, set of course to Harry Belafonte music. Number 14, Cyrus the Virus Grissom, Con Air. This film about a prison break on board an aircraft features one of the most psychotic and interesting villains thus far, Cyrus the Virus Grissom.
His name is Cyrus Grissom, aka Cyrus the Virus. 39 years old, 25 of them spent in our institutions. But he's bettered himself inside, earned 2 degrees, including his Juris Doctor. He also killed 11 fellow inmates, incited 3 riots, and escaped twice.
Amid the bombastic absurdity of this typically 90s action flick, Cyrus stands out as a criminal mastermind with typically scenery-chewing aplomb. Cyrus manages to take over the plane, bounding the guards and disguising them as inmates. Although Cyrus and his 2 associates are eventually killed, it is due to Cyrus's own intelligence that they even got this far.
We have a traitor in our midst. Now, how do we flush a traitor? I don't know, but at the count of 3, I will find out who is on my team and who is not.
Unbelievable in its action set piece as the film may be, but John Malkovich's performance as this intellectual hijacker reminds us not to take the film too seriously. Number 13, Vini, The Princess Bride. It's inconceivable that a list of lovable villains would not have one of the most memorable.
He's climbing the rope, and he's gaining on us.
Inconceivable. Faster!
I thought I was going faster.
Vini, along with Fezzik, are the bumbling kidnappers of Princess Buttercup and must contend with the pursuit of Dread Pirate Roberts. Vini's intelligence may be highly overstated, but his brave attempts at logic and words with more than 2 syllables have endeared him to audiences. And in the case of the poison cups, his trust in his own intelligence is nothing less than hilarity.
Trying to trick me into giving away something. It won't work.
It has worked! You've given everything away! I know where the poison is!
Then make your choice.
I will! And I choose... What in the world can that be?
What? Where?
You almost feel sorry for his quick exit from the story. He could have at least gotten into more inconceivable situations.
You keep using the word. I don't think it means what you think it means.
Number 12, Douglas Powers, aka Dr. Evil, Austin Powers franchise. With a villain name like that, one would expect a fun, memorable villain. Conceived as a parody of James Bond villains, Dr. Evil is likewise fun and funny to watch.
You're going to have to pay me $1 million. Sorry. $100 billion!
With his pinky finger tick, increasingly ridiculous backstory, and over-the-top evil plans, Dr. Evil is less of a threat than simply pettiness. His being Austin Powers' nemesis boils down to the latter becoming the international man of mystery, and not him.
I thought only Austin survived. I should have told you the truth earlier, but those Belgians, they made you so damn evil. And of course, they share a border with the Dutch.
Perhaps to be expected for the adoptee of a boulangerie owner and a French sex worker with webbed feet. At least he and Mini-Me have swag. Number 11, Captain James Hook. Hook. Speaking of charming roguish pirates, this cult film is undoubtedly bolstered by its villain. Dustin Hoffman makes for a fantastic Captain Hook, and is one of the best versions of the character.
Well, my stupid, sorry, parasitic sacks of entrails. Revenge is mine.
Dramatic, unhinged, and utterly hilarious, Hoffman's Hook is the perfect foil for Robin Williams' grown-up Peter, even building a camaraderie with Peter's son, Jack. Even in the face of defeat, Hook takes it all in stride and even dignity, until he whips out his dagger and tries to get Peter one last time.
Fools, James Hook is Neverland!
What indeed would the world be without Captain Hook in it? Number 10, Severus Snape, Harry Potter franchise. Let's hear it for the Half-Blood Prince! The most complex and morally great character in all of Harry Potter, Severus Snape elicits strong reactions.
Mr. Potter, our new celebrity.
Cold, resentful, and the favorite of the similarly complicated Draco Malfoy, Snape nevertheless has worked behind the scenes to ensure Harry's and others' safety. We later find out that Snape is indeed loyal to Dumbledore, even killing him on his orders and working against Voldemort.
Please. Avada Kedavra.
The reason? He does it out of his great love for Harry's mother, Lily. With such poignant motivations, Snape is one of the rare antagonists that truly wins our sympathy. Number 9, Francis Frank Costello, The Departed. Now this mobster is not one you should ever cross. Jack Nicholson plays the Irish Frank Costello, one of the most vicious and sadistic of mob bosses in Boston.
Come with me. I'm not the cops. Not asking you.
Being Irish Catholic at a time of great racism and discrimination obviously informs Costello's law unto himself attitude. Costello even has a fatherly streak, acting as a sort of mentor and father figure to Billy Costigan.
I probably could be you, yeah. Yeah, I know that much. But I don't want to be you, Frank. I don't want to be you.
Heavy lies the crown. Sort of thing.
Yeah.
It turns out, Costello's character is based on a real-life gangster who sold out his fellow criminals in order to climb the ranks, so Costello's dark charisma is truly less than fiction. Number 8, Roy Batty, Blade Runner. In a world where replicants are tracked down and killed, it's not rocket science which characters will win the audience's sympathy. A rogue replicant, Roy has been driven to desperate and questionable acts in evading the Blade Runners, including the film's protagonist, Deckard.
Proud of yourself, little man. This is for Zora. This is for Pris.
In the climax, when Deckard is hanging from the roof, Roy even saves him to the former's shock. In the end, though, you can't outrun death, either as a replicant or a human. As Roy's replicant body loses life force, he delivers a poignant and unforgettable monologue.
All those moments will be lost in time. Like tears in rain.
This android definitely dreams of electric sheep. Number 7, O-Ren Ishii, Kill Bill Volume 1. The Bride's most iconic would-be killers, the Viper Assassination Squad, don't lack for iconic characters, but O-Ren Ishii may be one of the most memorable.
I promise you right here and now, no subject will ever be taboo. Except, of course, the subject that was just under discussion.
This Chinese, Japanese, American assassin has had to work to ensure respect from her racist and sexist fellows. O-Ren took revenge after witnessing her mother and father's deaths at the hands of the Yakuza crime syndicate, becoming one of the world's top assassins.
Silly rabbit. Tricks are for kids.
Though the Bride crosses O-Ren off her list, one can easily see the similarities between the two characters, who work so hard for their due in a world stacked against them. Number 6, Hans Gruber, Die Hard. Another entry, another iconic Alan Rickman character. Hans is a German thief and criminal mastermind who holds Nakatomi Plaza for $640 million on Christmas Eve.
Want money? What kind of terrorist are you? Who said we were terrorists?
Suave, sophisticated, and conniving, Hans has many iconic moments, from his taste in Beethoven to his jaunty machine gun antics. He even acts the part of a hostage, on top of his role as a terrorist. Even his death scene is awe-inspiring, dramatically falling to his death from the tower. It's no wonder that Gruber has become one of the most iconic villains in film history, played by one of the most talented character actors. Number 5, Raul Silva, Skyfall. There have been many iconic James Bond villains throughout the years, but this former MI6 agent turned terrorist may be the best of them.
What is this if not betrayal? She sent you off to me knowing you're not ready, knowing you would likely die. Mommy was very bad.
Silva's turn towards villainy is understandable, having been left behind as a prisoner by M and tortured. Keen on vengeance, Silva embarks on an intricate plan to kill M, even capturing Bond in the process.
Mother's calling. I'll give her a goodbye kiss for you.
Javier Bardem's performance is magnetic, and the fact that he does manage to kill M cements him as one of the most chilling Bond villains in the canon. And like all villains, his being a mirror to Bond presents an alternate version of what Bond could be. Number 4, the Joker, The Dark Knight. One of the most famous psychopathic villains of all time, the Joker in all iterations is something to remember.
Now I see the funny side. Now I'm always smiling. A little fight in you. I like that. And you're gonna love me.
but by far the most magnetic and menacing has to be Heath Ledger's renowned Joker from Christopher Nolan's The Dark Knight. Though initially controversial, Ledger's Joker is now one of the most lauded, his reign of terror distinct and unique. In more than one bone-chilling monologue, he even gives a backstory of his grisly clown's grin, actually a facial scar.
He turns to me and he says, "Why so serious?" He comes at me with the knife. "Why so serious?"
Amid all the comic book gestures of other Batman media, Ledger's edgy Joker is one you'd better take seriously. Number 3. Hannibal Lecter, The Silence of the Lambs. Now this is one guest you won't want to invite for dinner.
Good morning.
Dr. Lecter, my name is Clarice Starling. May I speak with you?
You're one of Jack Crawford's, aren't you?
I am, yes.
Serial killer Hannibal Lecter prefers his meals with human flesh, coupled with fava beans and a nice Chianti. But it's his intellect and social graces that win us over as he helps Clarice capture Buffalo Bill, even developing a soft spot for the plucky novice agent. Refined, ultra-logical, and sophisticated, Lecter resembles more a murderous Sherlock Holmes than a brutal serial killer.
Brave Clarice. You will let me know when those lambs stop screaming, won't you?
A Sherlock Holmes who makes it a point to eat the rude, granted, but one that, like the iconic detective, is truly unforgettable. Number 2. Harry Lime and Marv Merchants, Home Alone and Home Alone 2 Lost in New York. There are fun villains, there are sympathetic villains, and then there are just villains who are so bad at their roles, they wind up endearingly sympathetic instead.
What's the matter?
I don't like the way that kid looked at me. Did you see that?
You ever seen him before?
I saw 100 kids this week.
Let's see what house he goes into.
Marv and Harry are ordinary thieves with the unfortunate luck of targeting the house of a burgeoning child sociopath. Just kidding, but really, Kevin's effective and increasingly dangerous traps would leave even hardened criminals at death's door. Marv and Harry are simply two bumbling burglars too dumb to evade them.
Well, hello.
Oh! He did it!
Did what?
Oh! Thanks.
In the end, we wince more in sympathy than schadenfreude at Marv and Harry's many, many downfalls.
Before we continue, be sure to subscribe to our channel and ring the bell to get notified about our latest videos. You have the option to be notified for occasional videos or all of them. If you're on your phone, make sure you go into your settings and switch on notifications.
Number 1. Loki, Marvel Cinematic Universe. There is nothing low-key about Loki. Based loosely on his mythological counterpart, Loki quickly becomes one of the most beloved villains not only in the MCU, but of all time.
I think you're right. About the Frost Giants, about Laufey, about everything. If they found a way to penetrate Asgard's defenses once, who's to say they won't try again? Next time with an army.
Portrayed by Tom Hiddleston, Loki is a trickster god with some very relatable grievances. His adopted father Odin prefers his blonde himbo son Thor to the point of neglecting Loki. Still, despite Loki's scheming and double-crossing, he and Thor share the typical brother relationship, full of jealousies and unexpected alliance.
Your savior is here!
Couple all that with Hiddleston's Shakespearean gravitas, and it's no wonder Loki is such a fan favorite, even to have garnered him his own TV series. Which other movie villain had you feeling sympathy for the devil? Let us know in the comments down below.
The man has only one look, for Christ's sake! Blue Steel? Ferrari? La Tigra? They're the same face! Doesn't anyone notice this? I feel like I'm taking crazy pills!
Did you enjoy this video? Check out these other clips from WatchMojo, and be sure to subscribe and ring the bell to be notified about our latest videos.